And so I did that for a while, and then they had they all their parts for those, you could go into Leslie's and buy a part for your pool, you pump or whatever. They're a distributor for the parts. So I went to go work for the distributor. And then at the distributor was where all the pool guys come to your house every week. They come there, they buy, that's where they get all their chlorine and their tools and the brushes and all that. And so I got to talking to those guys, and then I got working for one of those companies, and then I would go out to people's houses, and if your pool pump broke, you would either call the company or you tell your pool guy would go, hey, your pump broke, and your pool guy would call us and send one of us out, and we'd fix whatever. So I did that for a while, and then as always happens, met a girl. She was from LA, living in Phoenix, wanted to move back, and so I was like, well, let's go. Like, I'll go with you. I'll go to LA. And so that was like 2008. So wound up in LA. Now I'm in LA, but still I don't know who to talk. I don't know where to go. I don't know, in the studios especially, like, you got to know somebody.
Right. Connections.
To make sandwiches for people, you got to know somebody. I mean, it's
Yes.
ridiculous. And got to be in the union. Got to do that. That's a huge part of the industry out here. So I still didn't know anybody. But then I went back into, I had to pay bills. So I went back into the pool business and I worked for the same distributor I had worked for before, but they're nationwide. So they had a branch out here. So I worked there for a while. And then, what happened? Oh, right. So I was working there for a while, and I was making phone calls. I was trying to get into animation, and I was calling all the studios and stuff, and just nothing was happening. And so I got to the point where I decided, I was like, if I want to do this, if I got to get into the industry, to get to where I want to be, like, I'm not making any progress. And so I was like, I just need to get in it and do anything. Like, it doesn't matter. I just need to get in there. So I feel like, this was my own thought process. For me, I need to feel like I'm moving towards it, and I'm not selling pool stuff. So I got to get into the industry any way that I can. I'll be a truck driver. I'll be a PA. Like, I don't care. Like, I just need to feel like I'm moving. So one day I'm at the pool place, and this guy walks in, and he wants to order a diving board. And he goes, this is the diving board I want. This is the part number. This is the manufacturer. This is this, blah, blah, blah. And he gives me this whole pack of stuff he'd printed from the internet of this diving board. And his business card was stapled to it. And he was a set decorator. His name was Ron Franco. And he was a set decorator for, at the time, it was the show Heroes. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this is like my first person that I knew, and I didn't know him, but like, I'm all over this. I'm going to get this for you. I'm going to order, this is a special order. I'm going to special order it, and he was like, can you have it shipped to the studio instead of, so I don't have to come here and pick it up? Absolutely. And I was like on it. I was like calling every day, making sure everything. I was letting him know, hey, it's here. It's now it's in, now it's in Tempe, Arizona. Now it's on the truck. It's headed here. Like, blah blah blah. It's going to the studio. Da 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 da. So he comes in once it showed up or whatever. He came in to pay for it, and I was like, and again, I don't know this guy, and I was like, I'm at the counter, and I'm like, all right, look. I was like, here's the deal. And I told him like my story. And he goes, and I was like, I will do, like, can you, like, I will do anything. Like, literally,
Wow.
will you, like, help me out? And so he goes, I'll be right back. And he leaves. And he comes back. And he said, or he goes, give me your phone number and give me all this information. So whatever. So I wrote it all down. He leaves, comes back like 10 minutes later, and he goes, a lady's going to call you. Her name is, I don't remember at the time. This lady's going to call you. She's very nice. And then he left, and he was out of my life. And so I was like,
Easy.
I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I'm like, finally, like, something's going to happen. And she never called me.
Oh.
Right. So, yeah. So, like, after like 3 weeks, I was like, yeah, she's not going to call, is she? Yeah. All right. So, I'm crushed.
Oh,
So,
we've all had those moments, right, Gloria?
Yes. Yes.
For sure.
I,
so, oh, sorry.
I'm hearing this story and I see a lot of stuff that I'm gonna comment it later when he finished. But it's very
Oh boy.
interesting. A lot of stuff that he already said.
I really, yes, we have a lot of input, but we're waiting because it's
Yes.
a good story. So please
Yes.
continue.
Yeah.
So, um, all right. So I was involved in through the kind of the replica prop forum thing. There's a group of people. I don't if you go to Comic Con and stuff, you've probably heard of them. The 501st Legion, and they're
Okay.
Star Wars. It's a club
Oh,
of
mhm,
people that dress up as Star Wars characters.
Yes. It's gonna be
And
one in
mhm.
Tampa. I think next week.
yes,
This
they're
weekend or next
yeah,
weekend.
they're all over. They're nationwide. These guys,
Yes.
and they go to all the conventions. They go to all that stuff. But they go to children's hospitals and they visit kids, and it's very cool. Um, so I was involved with them. I had I joined at that point? I think I had. You have to have a costume and it has to be super accurate and movie, correct to the movies.
Ooh.
And there's varying levels. There's like some of them are very, like you have the screw is in the wrong place or like whatever. So I put a costume together, like a stormtrooper costume. Is a is a clone trooper, but come on,
Right on.
who cares? For the purposes of the story, it doesn't matter. So so through that, I knew a guy, or I had met a guy, and you go to meetings and stuff, and because it's in LA, there's a lot of people in the industry, and so I met a guy who worked at a very large local prop house, and a prop house for people that don't know. So, um, sorry, all the stuff you see on TV show and a movie, the furniture, tables, even props, a lot of that is rented, and there are places that are prop houses that the prop master for the show or the set decorator or whoever goes to, and they're full of stuff. It's like Goodwill exploded. It's like there's 300 different bicycles.
Mm.
There's school backpacks. There's school books. There's school globes. There's sporting goods. There's fake bales of marijuana. There's shrink wrapped fake. It looks like money, like briefcases full of fake money, cereal boxes, like anything you can think of. Literally, they have it, and you can rent it for whatever, how many dollars a week, whatever it is. Um, and this particular prop house had another half, which will become germane later, that was manufacturing. Well, they will make whatever you want. We need I need a suitcase that has a false bottom in it. When you open it, it's got a gun. There's a foam cutout with guns and hand grenades and ID cards and passports, and I need a laser gun for the new Star Trek movie. I need a speeder bike for the Mandalorian, like whatever it is, they'll make it. And so one of the guys that I knew from the 501st, he worked at this place. And so, and I kind of peripherally knew that this was kind of the kind of place he worked at, but I didn't really. I was trying to get an animation, right? Like, whatever. So, I was at a meeting once, it was a party, I think, and he was there, and just kind of in passing says to me, "Hey, you should come to the shop sometime and check it
Mm.
out." And so I was like, "All right, yeah, like cool, that sounds cool." And so like it had been months had gone by, and so I finally hit this guy up, and I was like, "Hey, I want to come see the shop or whatever." And so we got to talking, and I didn't know him very well. So I got to talking, and he was like, and so he was like, "Oh, you want a job?" Like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And so he was like, "Okay." And so he was like, "I think we have an opening in our, I think it was a video department where they rent computers and TVs and VCRs and like iPods and whatever you need for your show, they rent it. So I go to this place and I fill out the application and everything and do all that. And he shows me around and I see the manufacturing and it's, oh my God, this is where they make. And I think at the time they were working on, I think it was the Green Lantern movie, the Ryan Reynolds one.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a bunch of stuff from that and the show Chuck, the TV show Chuck. They had a bunch of, it was like kind of a spy TV show. They had a lot of little gadgets. So, are you guys losing me?
No.
Okay.
No,
Kia,
you're good.
It's Kia. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's Kia.
I just saw the screen kind of froze up.
Yeah, Kia.
Okay.
A little bit.
So I fill out the application and everything and give him my resume. And so he looks at it and he goes, oh, 3D modeling. I was like, yeah, I know, 3D modeling. He's like, oh, AutoCAD. Yep. Maya, which is a 3D modeling software. And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, why don't you work on our art department? And I go, I don't know. Why don't I work in your art department? And so there I was.
Finally.
Well, finally, sort of.
Oh.
And
how many years it took you from the 8 years old to finally get to this point?
I have to do math. Let's see. I was
because you manifested. You
manifested. Hang on. I'm doing the math. Hold on. 26 plus 35. I was 35. So minus 9. So 26 years.
26 years took.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing.
No, it goes